How's it going, everyone, and welcome to Dex Prime. I'm Dividable, and today we'll be going through an in-depth dive of all the known Pokemon based on their Pokédex entry. We'll be covering everything from the in-game Dex entries, where they originated, the Pokemon statistics, current popular moves, builds, abilities, and weaknesses, to notable appearances within the anime, manga, and how to acquire them in different games, as well as the TCG cards and rare collectibles. Now, without further delay, let's discuss the fiery little lizard, Charmander. Charmander is a small bipedal reptile Pokemon. It has large blue eyes and an orange skin, with a yellow cream-colored midsection going down along the underside of its tail. It has short arms with 3 tiny fingers and a thumb on each hand. Charmander also has a tail with a small flame at the tip. The flame can be used as an indicator for both the Charmander's mood and health. It is also known for being quite hot, evaporating rain, and other small amounts of water that get near it. Also, it is rumored that if the flame on its tail is extinguished, Charmander will die. Charmander is the first evolution of its line, evolving into Charmeleon at level 16 and Charizard at level 36. Without any differences to most of its physical features, Shiny Charmander exhibits more yellow pigmentation to its skin instead of the standard orange, as well as a bright stomach area to help divide its features. Throughout all the generations, it is well established through the Pokédex that the fire on Charmander's tail is very hot. The very first deck entry from Pokemon Red and Blue states, obviously prefers hot places. When it rains, steam is said to spout from the tip of the tail, which helps reinforce this idea. In Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire Generation 3, it confirms that the flame can be used to determine Charmander's mood and health by stating, the flame that burns at the tip of its tail is an indication of its emotions. The flame wavers when Charmander is enjoying itself. If the Pokemon becomes enraged, the flame burns fiercely. Pokemon, the Animated Series, Episode 11, Charmander, the Stray Pokemon. A very well-known Charmander that I'm sure most of you already know of would be Ash's very own. In Charmander, the Stray Pokemon, Ash, Misty, and Brock come across a lone Charmander. We soon discover that this particular Charmander was abandoned by his trainer Damien, a selfish trainer who only wished to train the strongest Pokemon, instead of raising and making them strong himself. Charmander was loyal. He truly believed Damien would return for him and never left the spot where he was left. However, during a rainstorm, Charmander started to get very sick, and the light on his tail was nearly extinguished. Ash rushed him to the Pokemon Center where he was nursed to health, and once he finally realized that Damien had abandoned him, he decided to follow Ash and allow him to catch. Pokemon Origins Episode 1, File Red. Another well-known Charmander would be none other than Red's. We are introduced to both of them in the Pokemon Origins File 1 Red. Red is called to the Professor Oak's lab alongside the professor's grandson and Red's future rival, Blue. Oak assigns them and gives them both a task in completing his creation, the Pokédex, and gifted them one of the 3 Pokemon, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. Red immediately chose Charmander due to the fact that it was a perfect match for his name Red, in which his father gave him in hopes of growing his fiery personality. Blue chose Squirtle solely to have the type advantage over Red. Later, outside Viridian City, Blue challenges Red to a battle. However, due to Blue's type advantage and experience, Red and his Charmander lose. After his defeat, Red is approached by a strange man who witnessed the battle. He explains to Red that the reason he lost was due to the lack of understanding he has about his Pokemon's typing, as well as a lack of familiarity and what it means to be a trainer and how to do battle. He leaves Red with some advice, telling Red that he ever wishes to learn on what it means to be a trainer, then to seek out the Pokemon gyms and their leaders. This search leads him to Pewter City, where he decides to challenge Brock, the gym leader. As it turns out, Brock was the man Red met outside Viridian. Brock accepts Red's challenge and states that he will only use 2 Pokemon. As such, he sends out Geodude. Red once again uses Charmander. After a few attempts with Ember and Scratch, Red realizes that they aren't doing much at all. Brock again explains, this time in further detail, the importance of type advantage and a good strategy. Red decides to swap out Charmander with his Nidoran, who knocks out Geodude with a double kick. This time, Brock sends out Onix, who proceeds to wipe out almost all of Red's team. After using String Shot with Metapod and getting knocked out by Onix once again, Red is left with only his Charmander. Both Pokemon are down to 1 hit each. It comes down to which of the two is faster. Red, now understanding that Pokemon are not tools but partners, with a new confidence has Charmander attack Onix with only Scratch. Both Pokemon clash, ending in Charmander defeating Onix, only thanks to Metapod's leftover string, which slowed Onix enough for Charmander to get the upper hand. After receiving the Pewter Badge from Brock, Red and Charmander set off to truly begin their new journey. In Generation 1, Red and Blue, Charmander is one of the 3 starting Pokemon. In Pokemon Yellow, Charmander can be given to you by a boy found in Route 24. For Generation 2, Gold, Silver, and Crystal games, you can only obtain Charmander through a machine called the Time Capsule, which is found in the Pokemon Center. The Time Capsule can only be activated after meeting Bill in Ecruteak City. For Generation 3 Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, and Colosseum and XD, the only way you could obtain Charmander is through trade. In Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, it is one of the 3 starters that you receive from Professor Oak. For Generation 4, Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, the only way you could obtain the Pokemon is through trade. However, in games like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Charmander is given to you by Professor Oak after defeating Red on Mount Silver. For all 4 of the Black and White games on Generation 5, Charmander is only available through Global Trade. However, for Generation 6 in the games X and Y, Charmander is one of the 3 potential Pokemon given to you by Professor Sycamore in Luminous City after beating him, or try and get one through trade. In Omega Ruby and Sapphire, Charmander is obtained through the 2016 World Champion Bulbasaur event, or via Global Trade. In Generation 7 Sun and Moon, Charmander was only obtainable through trade. However, through Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, he can be found on Route 3 using the Island Scan. Moving on to Let's Go games, Charmander will be given to the player by a boy on Route 24 if they have caught 50 or more individual Pokemon. In Sword and Shield for Generation 8, Charmander can be gifted to you by Leon at his house after becoming the champion. It is also available through trade, Pokemon Home, or the Gigantamax raids with the Wild Area News. In Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, there's a chance that he could be found within the Grand Underground, Volcanic Cave, Sandshear Cave, and Typhoon Cave after obtaining the National Pokedex. For Generation 9, Charmander could only be attained through trade in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, unless you have the DLC purchase, the Hidden Treasures of Area 0, as of which you can find in the Savannah biome after boosting the biome's biodiversity. For Pokemon Go, you're able to catch Charmander through research, which is guaranteed for it to be at level 15. Otherwise, it can be caught normally out in the wild. In regular weather, Charmander can be caught at level 30, and in sunny weather, it can be caught at level 35. Charmander is a base Fire-type Pokemon. Its typing allows it to resist attacks from Bug, Steel, Fire, Grass, and Ice-type attacks, dealing only half the original damage to it. However, this means it is susceptible to attacks that are Ground, Water, and Rock typing, dealing double the damage. Charmander has one common ability known as Blaze, and one hidden ability known as Solar Power. Blaze is an ability that boosts the attack and special attack by 50% when they are 1/3 of their base health if they use a Fire-type move. This is a handy ability with a Charmander who has a build with special defense, leaving it around just long enough to deal a large amount of damage if you're in a pinch. Solar Power increases the special attack of the user by 1.5 during harsh sunlight. However, the user also loses 1/8 of his health for every turn harsh sunlight is active. A somewhat dangerous ability if used against a faster Pokemon. However, when paired with a 50% damage increase from a fire attack that gives it Sunny Day, it makes almost any Fire-type move very dangerous regardless of the typing depending on its power. At level 1, Charmander has a 309 base stat points with 39 HP, 52 attack, 43 defense, 60 special attack, 50 special defense, and 65 speed. At level 50 with proper IVs, EVs, and nature, its max stats can be 146 HP, 114 attack, 104 defense, 123 special attack with 112 special defense, and 128 speed. And at level 100 it has 282 HP, 223 attack, 203 defense, 240 special attack, 218 special defense, and 251 speed. For Charmander, a good build to follow is to maximize its ability to deal damage. To achieve this, the best course is to make sure that the hidden ability is Solar Power. Make sure its nature is Timid, which also boosts the special attack without negatively affecting the other stats. A good item to have would be a Choice Scarf, which boosts the speed by 1.5 times. However, be careful because choice items will lock the Pokemon into one move until it either swaps out or faints. For moves, it is recommended to give it Weather Ball, which is a move that changes type based on weather. A perfect move to spam while under harsh sunlight. Overheat and Fire Blast, these are two moves that are recommended for high damage outside of sunny weather, and another move of a player's choice. And finally, Eevee should look similar to this below, with as much put into speed and special attack as possible. Now for TCG cards, we'll go over the top 3 current Charmanders on the market. At number 1, we have the Charmander 1999 Pokemon Game number 46 First Edition. The current market value for this card is $1,233. At number 2, we have the Charmander 2023 Scarlet and Violet Blatscar promo, number SVP044 Obsidian Flames Elite Trainer Box, currently averaged at a market value of $1,100. And finally, at number 3, we have the Charmander 2003 Scarlet and Violet 151, number 168 and 165 illustration rare. The current market value for this card is $288. Now, I would like to thank all the list of sites that were used to find all the information given in this video. A lot of effort was put into them, and if there's anything you want to know that wasn't mentioned in this video, whether it's general information, competitive strategies, or anything else that you would need, I'll put a link down in the description and recommend paying them a visit. Thanks to everyone who made it through this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and from now on we'll be posting every videos every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and before you know it, we'll be discussing one of your favorite Pokemon. Until then, this is Dex Prime, signing off.